Robots Radio. Games, lore, stories, community. Just press play. Welcome to the Fallout Lorecast, the podcast that explores the boundaries of our knowledge about the world of Fallout. Wastelanders and Vault Dwellers, welcome back to the Fallout Lorecast. This is our patron chat. It is the last day of January 2024, and we have a bunch of our patrons here to join me for our topic today, which I think is going to be a very interesting thing to talk about because we have some really very smart and experienced Fallout players talking about Fallout quests. And we've done this before. We've talked about our favorite quests. We've talked about quests a lot, but we haven't talked about ways to spice up the quests in future Fallout games, whether that's Fallout 5 or maybe a New Vegas 2 or a future expansion to 76. So I've given them this concept, and I know they're coming up with all sorts of fun, crazy ideas, all sorts of ways of mixing the quests around, because a lot of time we get these quests where it's follow the MacGuffin or go talk to this person and that person's in trouble, so you save them from the raiders, and you kind of go through all the same kinds of steps and a lot of similarities in quests. But how would you make them different? That's what we're talking about today. And to be here with us, some of our tier 4 and higher patrons, I'm going to read out everybody's name, and on the count of 3, you're going to make the sound of what you think it should sound like when you complete a quest. So here we go. Lil Green, Pumpkin King, Darth Odin, Void, AK Spartan, and Maverick are joining us again. On the count of 3, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Cha-ching!
I love when I do this and they don't all hit at the same time, like different people say things and then it just turns into this really long, weird sound. Thank you for joining me again, everybody. Who has an idea, something that they think would be really cool to mix up questing? Void has his hand raised. Void, welcome back to the show. How's it going?
It is doing great. I apologize for missing last month. I fell asleep.
Oh, well, sleep is important too, so.
Well, when you have a massive migraine, yeah. Anyway.
I know the feeling. Go ahead.
My idea for a quest, I don't remember which one it was because I've never played it. It's either Fallout 1 or Fallout 2, where you could have a car or something.
I think it's 2.
Right.
If I'm remembering correctly.
But put that in the free roam world of like Fallout 4 and 76 and make it so that there's an entire clan, kind of like the Gunners or the Raiders, that have modified them for either off-road or dirt track races. And then you have to race them and kind of customize or build your own.
Oh, that's cool.
Like
okay.
You have to run around the map for different parts or whatever. And it's a long-term quest, but it'll be rewarding in the end with caps and resources and everything.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a Mad Max thing, right? Like vehicles in the wasteland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Combined with the building mechanics of like your settlement or your robots or whatever to kind of customize your vehicle. Do you feel like they would have to design the map in a way to like really work well with this? I feel like there's just a lot of junk laying around and stuff. It's hard kind of for vehicles. Are all these like all-terrain vehicles? What do you think?
So yeah, that's why I said it would either be off-road or dirt track.
Yeah.
And even then the vehicles would have to be pretty slow just to be able to make the map feel larger. Because as we know with Fallout 4, yeah, it's pretty big. And that's why they have fast travel in it, but that's only walking and sprinting.
Right.
But with a vehicle, yeah, you might get somewhere faster, but it's not necessarily faster than fast travel would be.
Right, especially off-road. You're going to be dealing with like trying to get around trees and all the bumps in the road that kind of slow you down and, like making sure you don't go into the river or whatever,
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. All right, so this is a cool concept. So quests focused on vehicles. This is a long-standing thing about Fallout. People are like, I wish you could drive vehicles around the wasteland. What do the rest of you think? Let's open this up. What do you think? Vehicles, quest lines, customization? Who has thoughts on this one? Lil Green?
I would say I'm not against having vehicles, but maybe not a car per se. Maybe like just like some sort of like off-road vehicle, like maybe just like a dirt bike or something like that would be more feasible and just, but like even still just as fun.
Like dirt bikes or ATVs, like a single person, or maybe only two people.
Single person, like, or like just something a little bit smaller, just so that it more, I guess, makes sense in the world.
Yeah, it's a little bit
because
more mobile.
Roads are not a thing that are that are intact in most of the games. So
right.
That's really my only reasoning about it. But like, I would love to see some sort of vehicle system or transportation system, because when we look at like 76 and just how long it takes you to go from one end to the other.
I mean, that's a big map. It's 4 times the size of Fallout 4. It's huge.
So
yeah. No, that totally makes sense. Void, what do you think about that? Like ATV vehicles and off-road bikes and things like that?
So even having ATVs or off-road bikes, yeah, it would be a great improvement to your speed. And with 76, because I don't play it that much, I don't know actually how big that map is. So with that being said, with how Little Green put it, that map is huge. That would be a great improvement. Even if it were rideable mounts, as in like a centaur or radstag-like creature that you could mount, or even a wise Mothman, right?
Right. I'm thinking about all the creatures and how like you get like a giant mole rat. You just ride around,
of course,
or whatever.
Mole rat broodmother.
Yeah. Right. That would be amazing. Okay. Any other thoughts on vehicles? We could go on for a whole episode about the kinds of mounts you could put in a Fallout game. Maybe we should save that for next month. But let's talk specific about vehicles. Pumpkin, you got thoughts on vehicles?
So you're talking about that. I was like, I'm amazed your brain wouldn't just immediately go to horses, but like I respect a centaur hardcore.
Yeah, well, I mean, horses, like there's a bunch of creatures in Fallout. Horses are not one of the most common things that you see at all.
You said centaur, and I was like, I want them back. And you said as rideable, and I was like, that's even better.
You hold on to like their mandibles or whatever in order to steer. Oh God. Oh man. All right. Well, this is going to go sideways. Let's table the whole rideable creatures thing, because that seems like an entire episode that we could do together. But this is a really fun idea, Void. I know a lot of people have talked about vehicles, and this might be a way to actually work it into the game in a way that kind of makes sense. So cool. Who would like to go next? Darth Odin. I see Darth Odin's hand up. Darth, what do you think about mixing up or spicing up the quest lines?
So you know how in certain games they have, if you do like a good version of that quest line, everything becomes pristine and beautiful or rebuilt. And then if you do the dark kind of ending, it becomes kind of twisted, mangled, and dilapidated.
Right. Yeah. Like the results of your actions. Right.
That was what I was thinking.
Okay, so you're talking kind of like they've done this in a number of games, like the Paragon Renegade system in Mass Effect is kind of similar to this. In games like Bloodborne, like as you become more aware of things, the world becomes darker and kind of shifts tone depending on the actions and decisions you make. Like this works across a lot of games. So you're saying give us the ability to choose the morally more upstanding or not upstanding decision and have some real effects on the way that actually plays out and changes the world. Right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it would be interesting to see how far does this go. Does it go like, let's say you help out a small encampment of people, and then if you help them out, then they get to rebuild and the place looks nice and more pristine. And then if you work against them, maybe it gets destroyed? Or are you thinking like much more massive scales, like you do something kind of the collective good or the collective negativity you do expands across the map? Like maybe if you are being evil, there's more evil in the world and you have more monsters to have to deal with when you're wandering around or things like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Like the bigger scope of it version?
Bigger scope, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's open this up. What do you all think about this? Like adjusting the entire scope of the game and the map depending on the morals of what you decide to do.
To be honest, I think it's a interesting concept to think about, because there are, like you said, and I have been listening while I'm cleaning out my semi.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
The concept is interesting to think about, because example is Fallout 3 is super gray anyway. If you do more good things, you could see possibly more color in that game, which would change the dynamic of it completely.
Oh yeah, even just adjusting the visuals from a color perspective, a little bit more saturated colors.
It changes it completely. But but if you do more, it could get worse, a whole lot worse.
Yeah. That's an interesting idea. Or even just the weather. Like you get a little bit more, so the days are a little sunnier and you get birds chirping. And then if you do bad things, it's rainier, darker more often. The world just kind of matches the tone of your actions. It's a fun way to think of it. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else want to chime in? Void? I saw Void's hand.
I think with that, like, it kind of goes with how Fallout 4 did their, like, Brotherhood, Institute, and Railroad, because whichever one you chose, you kind of had to go with their morals, just because of, like, you wanted to get through the game. But, I mean, changing the whole aspect of the game would be really cool, like how, with what Maverick was saying, with, like, just a color shift almost from, like, the East Coast to the West Coast hue, if you know what I'm talking about there.
Yeah, everything's green on the East Coast. Everything's more yellow and orange and brown in the West Coast. Just changing the way the color grading in the game would work could be a thing. Absolutely. Pumpkin, you had your hand raised too.
It's a cool concept. I didn't really I had my hand up because my brain had a thought, and then I was like, that's not really a thought.
Okay. All right.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a cool idea, Darth. I think this is cool. And it could have all sorts of ramifications, everything from, color grading or the weather to how many creatures or enemies or raiders are out in the wasteland, or who slowly takes more control of the area that you're in over time. Like, what if they do a New Vegas 2, and the more you help the NCR, the more you see NCR out in the world at settlements and things as their influence expands. But if you decide to go with, say, the remnants of the Legion or whoever else, right, then you see more of that stuff and more corruption around the places you go. And of course, neither side is perfect, but typically one side's a little bit more towards law and order than the other, that kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. This is a cool one, Darth. Thanks for this suggestion. Any last thoughts on this one, Darth? Got to find the unmute button. There you go.
No, I didn't have any more thoughts on this one.
All right, cool. All right, who would like to go next? Third one up. Pumpkin, what's your idea?
So this is a very, I think, niche one, and I need more like outfit-based quests, if that makes sense.
So you want to play like Fallout fashion?
Kind of like how there was the New Vegas did like majorly, where it's like specific factions would attack you if you had certain other outfits on.
Right. People identify you by what you're wearing. Right.
Yeah. Or in like how Fallout 4 had the Silver Shroud quest, or there was also the Mistress of Mystery quest. I've realized that over time it kind of just died down. I would love to see the whole faction thing come back, and I would love to see more outfit interaction with NPCs and stuff.
Yeah, no, that is a cool feature and something they haven't done as much in more recent games. How extreme do you want to take it? Like, do you take it to the point where
I would like the faction style back, where it's like if you're wearing a certain thing and the other faction will attack you. I would like that to come back.
Would you take it to the point where, let's use the example of the Legion, because they're pretty much ready to attack anybody at any time. But if you are head to toe dressed up as them, and you walk into a camp, everyone just kind of like lets you in. They're just, oh, he's one of us. Clearly, he's wearing our armor or whatever.
It'll be like once you get to if you get to a certain point when you're all. So like I think New Vegas did this. Is if you get too close, then they will start attacking you.
Right. Like, or there's some sort of dialogue that comes up, and you have to, if you pass the dialogue, you convince them that you're one of them. But the dialogue becomes more difficult if you go from like just like the guards at the door compared to like the leader in the main room or something like that. Like they're way more.
Yeah. Like that is exactly like how I had a thought of it.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a cool idea.
Like I said, very niche.
Yeah, but it's something that is true to the series. It's a feature that hasn't been done as much more recently. You're absolutely right. Let's open this one up. What do you all think about quests that engage with the way you're dressed up and how that plays out? Any thoughts on that?
I like that idea. Is like kind of I'm thinking is going undercover. Just, oh yeah, we knocked this guard out right here. We stole his clothes for you, and we're going to go into the Legion camp, and you're going to investigate and see what their weaknesses are. Maybe plan explosive here and there. And then during the actual final battle, you see the Fortification Hill, I guess. Boom again.
Right. Oh, and by the way, welcome, Nova. You weren't here during the intro.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hello.
I'm glad you shut up.
Sorry.
No problem.
I was rushing home.
Yeah. So what you're saying is basically put Hitman in Fallout.
Yeah, kind of.
Because that's what that is, right? Like you knock a guard out, you take their clothes, you go into the room, and as long as you don't get too close to somebody, they don't figure you out. Or if somebody doesn't find the guard, then you're probably safe. But once they find the guard, people become more suspicious, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, just putting different, because like as far as I can remember, there's been no mission that's actually like that where you're like infiltrating, just trying to gather intelligence. And I've always enjoyed those kind of missions in video games, and so I really like the idea of that kind of. I really like the idea of that idea or that concept being explored more in the game or being used more.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. All right. Who else wants to chime in? Any other thoughts on this one? Do you guys enjoy doing this in the games that you've played already? Darth, did you have a thought?
Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed, so what I did like for New Vegas is I would put on NCR clothing and then join the NCR, and then I'd put on Legion clothing, join the Legion, but like as a spy kind of thing.
Right.
So like get the inner workings and then report back to the NCR and tell them what's going on.
Yeah, and you're able to do it because you
would be
dress up.
Pretty effective for like a stealth build.
Oh, totally. In fact, you could even imagine an expansion to, say, stealth armor that doesn't just make you invisible, that makes you look like you're wearing clothes of whoever you want to look like you're wearing clothes of in order to infiltrate, right? So if you want to look like you're part of the U.S. military and you're a Chinese spy, then you would put on a suit that makes you look like you have whatever credentials make sense for the room you're trying to go into, right? That could be a fun play on that kind of technology. So just another idea to throw out there. Any other thoughts? Maverick, did you have a thought?
I did have a thought. So first, people are playing Secret Agent Man in New Vegas, which I was never a part of. But there are so many different factions that would go great with this idea in different games, along with bringing back the karma system.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, some of the things we've talked about kind of touch on the karma system a little bit. It's been in the back of my head. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So yeah, you could play. I wonder if like even the amount of karma you have for a group makes them more or less suspicious of you when you're in their outfit. I would assume so. Something like that could play into it. Yeah, interesting ideas. Did you have more?
No, I was disagreeing with you.
Okay, cool. I saw Pumpkin. Pumpkin, did you have another idea, or was it not was it an idea that was pretending to be an idea and then it wasn't an idea?
I do like it affecting reputation. I feel like that would be a really good. I liked that. So I'm just in agreement. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Lil's got ideas.
All right, well, just going on with one last thought. The one thing I did actually enjoy about like using other factions like outfits is how all the other NPCs and like regular people would react to you sometimes. And I would sometimes forget, I'm wearing like the Legion or an Enclave or like just someone else that should not be here. And like, why is this person acting so weird to me?
Right. And
then and then like you remember, oh wait, yeah, no, I was doing that. I love that little bit. Like it doesn't just affect the faction; it affects like even like the regular NPCs.
Yeah,
so that was like a nice thing to have in the games.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that was another piece of it. And For some reason, I feel like if you were asked the devs, they would have said, "Oh, that's one of those things that is annoying for people because then they have to switch their armor or whatever." But I think that for the people who really want to roleplay in the world and feel like they're actually in a real world where people react realistically to you, then that totally makes sense. If you're walking around an NCR settlement in full on Legion battle armor, then people are going to freak out. Like it totally makes like they should freak out. That's a feature that makes sense, right?
Or even like going back to 4 if I vaguely remember the Silver Shroud missions, and like if you were like doing the full Silver Shroud, people are just like, what's with this guy?
Right.
They're just weirded out by you. But it just made it more immersive. So
yeah, I agree. I think that is a good one as well. All right. Nova, any other thoughts?
No, not really.
Okay.
But it'd just be more fun, I think, because we have been missing that element of the game for quite a long time. Because you can walk into Diamond City just as a synth, basically, and everyone's like, "Oh, hi, how you doing? Welcome to the noodle shop."
Yeah, that is a little weird. I understand it takes a lot of extra work in order to make that happen, I would imagine, right? Like you have to have extra voice lines for like everybody. You have to think about every possible version of the way this could work and work it into the game. But again, it's a traditional part of older Fallouts, and I think it totally makes sense to bring it back.
If you can't get the role-playing element of a role-playing game, you shouldn't be making a role-playing game in the first place.
Possibly, yeah. All right, let's. We got time for one more before we take our mid break. I don't think Lil Green hasn't gone. Pumpkin King, Spartan, Maverick. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
All right, Lil Green.
I know I'm going to get some flack for this.
Ooh, hot take incoming.
I want an annoying quest, annoying repeatable quest, possibly. Do people know where I'm going with? There we go, Pumpkin's notes. Like
another settlement needs your help.
Yes, like I wouldn't mind that, or like how I've never played Skyrim, but like Merida's Beacon. Like something like that, just like something that just randomly pops up, but like everybody knows what's going to happen with it after they've played it like once or twice.
Right. So it has an iconic line that everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Every time I hear
just
this,
like, "Oh, this thing is coming." Yeah.
Right.
But like, I wouldn't want it as annoying as the settlement thing. Like, where it's like as soon as you finish it, it just starts up another one. That's like no, like a little break between it. It just like randomly pops up, and it's just like. And, just having a little bit of variety to it if possible. But, like, just that repeatable, like random quests that gets on people's nerves and becomes the meme of the game.
You know how in Skyrim there's the courier, and the courier somehow can find you wherever you are and like runs up to you and is like, "Oh, good, I've been looking for you. Here's a letter," or whatever, right? Like something along those lines of like once you connect with whoever the major faction is in the next game or whatever, they're like, "Oh, we'll keep you abreast of the situation in case something happens," and you're like, "Okay, I guess," and you're like, "See you later," going out to wander the wasteland, and then like 3 hours later, someone comes running up and is like, "Oh, good, I've been looking for you. Here's an update on the situation at our settlement. You need to go do this right now." And you're like, "What? How did you? Okay." And then you go do
76, you get the Appalachia like lottery commission, like Mr. Handy, or I forgot which one it is. Or Insult Bot.
Yeah, Insult Bot. Yeah. But like, but they seek you out. It's like you can't avoid it. Like it needs to be something that like every 10 hours in the game is like you just happen to another one just like spawns in and finds you.
I recently like bought 76 on the PC and like I was playing it, but like I don't know how, I think like 3 or 4 times I'm in the middle of like a giant just giant firefight, and the Appalachian like lottery commission one comes up and is trying to interact with me. It was like, "Why are you doing that?"
Right, don't you realize that you're in danger right now? Stop.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. That sounds really cool. All right, let's open this one up. What do you guys think about annoying quests or repeatable stuff?
So funnily enough, this is kind of going to be what I was going to say. In a way, and I do enjoy these annoying quote unquote quests. If only there was like different solutions. That was going to be my idea. Was instead of you having to do is like we delegate it to someone else. Like because in Fallout 4, you're the general of an entire army, but apparently you have to go deal with Joe Schmo down the way and his ghoul problem of 3 ghouls that are just wandering on a playground 5 miles away from him. If you could delegate, that'd be nice, in my opinion.
Yeah. So at what point does it, like, even the delegation just kind of get it on your nerves? It's just like at some point, if you're just like delegating all of it, I would imagine it would just kind of feel tedious. Like, oh, grab one other one of these quests. Okay, yeah, go take care of it. Move on, right?
It would, but also would feel a lot more realistic. It would feel better, in my opinion, because then you could like feel like you're actually part of an army instead of you being the only member in an army.
Yeah, you know what, that would, like, to take this a step further, if that stuff pops up only when you return to your base or something.
Yeah.
Like you walk in the room and somebody comes up to you and is like, oh, good, I'm glad you're here. This is the stuff that's happened recently. How do we handle it? And you can be like, all right, send some forces out to go deal with this one and this one. I'll take this one myself. Thanks for the update. And then you go, like,
yeah,
you know, then it feels more like you're picking your mission that you're going on. And especially if there's some really cool stuff in there or really cool rewards you get for doing that stuff, or it changes the aspect of the way the world works, or, you know, something bigger than just like, oh, go shoot the people attacking the settlement and then come back. Yeah, I did it. You know, like,
yeah, there also definitely have to be a lead up to get to that point, though, where you just don't just start the army and all of a sudden you have 50 guys that you get to work with. No, you have to recruit them. You have to build a settlement. You have to build facilities and everything, and get the entire military infrastructure underneath you, because then you have a sense of accomplishment where it's like the end game aspect to it. What
if once you're part of a faction and you meet other people out in the wasteland, like wastelanders, especially people out there who are really scrounging, having a tough time, you could basically bring them into your group. You could be like, listen, you come work for us. We'll give you a place to live. We'll put food on your table, but you need to be, you know, ready at whatever's notice to go do some of these missions and to help out or whatever. Like, we'll hire you if you want to come live with us. And then that's how you get more people in your settlement or your faction or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That sounds really good. And you can have just like, oh, we have enemy scouts over here spotted. How do we deal with them? No, things like that. So it doesn't just repeated missions like that. It is actual, like, it feels like a military campaign is happening at the same time. Anyways, though, back to Little Green's actual thing that we were talking about, because we got way sidetracked.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the redundant Radiant quests to an extent. Preston Garvey was too much for me because he is annoying, but
yeah,
like, always having something to do feels enjoyable. You don't feel like you're at a dead end, but it has to be more rewarding. And I feel like a little bit more complexity to it would benefit. Like, some quests are just like, go here, get this, or kill this thing. Other ones are, well, here's the problem. We don't know how to deal with it. And you have to kind of go on a little like side quest onto the normal quest, or like extend the normal quest out a little bit further.
Or what if
to actually complete it?
Or what if they so you enter the game from a gameplay perspective. There's all of these quests that you could potentially go do if you just happen to go to the right places and meet the quest giver. What if a way of revealing quests you haven't been done yet was through a situation like this?
That'd be interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Like the game knows you haven't been to this homestead over on this side of the map, and there's a whole quest chain where you help those people out and you go do whatever. But if you don't happen to find that spot on the map, you're never going to do that quest. But what if this was an option where it was like, oh, by the way, some people in this homestead are having some issues. Why don't you go check them out? And it just takes you not to these generated quests, but to actual main side quests, I guess we could call them, you know, in the game. That might solve that and help you find all the things that you would want to do anyway.
Yeah, because that would be a driving factor to complete to have a completion of the game in a more natural sense, rather than you look it up on the wiki, like, okay, I've done this quest, oh, I haven't done yet. Okay, where do I go to get this quest? It would just feel better in a way, I guess.
Yeah. All right,
more natural, more intertwined into the world in a better sense.
In a natural way. Lil, how do you feel about all of that? We took your idea and we ran with it. What do you think?
No, I mean, you guys are kind of hitting all the points that I would actually like agree with. So like, I just wanted like a repeatable like meme of a quest, but like I do want to have variety to it. I don't want it to be like, oh, like as like has been said, it's like, oh, go to this settlement and kill like the 3 or 4 enemies that are there.
Right.
And then like it just repeats every time you come back. But I do like, even like if it's like a system where like you are building up like some sort of like force or group where it's like, oh, I don't have to go to everything. I could just delegate people. if need be.
Right.
So I do like that idea to things, because like I know like some games like Far Cry 6 had something like that. And like you like kind of like, you know, went along in like plans like, oh, like I want them to do this at this time, this at that time, and then like there's like something at stake for it as well.
Yeah.
So it just adds another mechanic to like, you know, break up things.
Yeah, no, I like it. Good ideas. Tell you what, we got to take a break, and man, all this fun conversation, the episode just flies by. I'll try to do the mid break as fast as we can, and then we've got some other ideas to get to. So if you haven't shared your idea yet, be ready to do it. Here we go. It's time for that spring reset. I'm taking a look at everything in my closet and figuring out that, oh no, this absolutely needs to go. And it's about time I replace things so that my clothes aren't older than my 15-year-old. Now you might think that they lasted that long because they were well made, but no, they're in terrible condition. Unlike the new jeans I just got from Quince. Jeans have always been my personal go-to because you can kind of wear them for lots of different things, but maybe they're not your thing. Maybe you're looking for, I don't know, 100% European linen with insanely soft flow knit activewear fabric. It's definitely getting warmer, and their flow knit activewear is moisture wicking, anti-odor, and soft enough that you'll actually want to wear it every day. So pick out what you want. You can't go wrong because they have prices 50 to 60% less than similar brands. And like I said before, they are high quality. I continue to wear their clothes all the time, and I know that these new jeans are going to last me a lot better than the other things in my wardrobe. And on top of it, they look great. They're so comfortable, and I spent just as much on the jeans that I am now cleaning out of my wardrobe. So if you're looking for something better, just all around better, go check out Quince. So go do it right now. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/falloutlore.
Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home, and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
Hello there, old chap. Good to see another of General Atomic's finest, still eager to serve.
All right, as fast as I can. Welcome to the mid-break. Thank you to our patrons, including those patrons joining me today, and everyone else who supports the show, all 84 of you. And welcome to Taxing Mars, our newest patron. Thanks for signing up. I'm glad that you are here. And the SentryBot patrons get shout-outs every week. Germinator and SkyR, thanks again for your support as well. Also, we've got a new review that came from Apple Podcasts. This is from Belmont94 in the US, who writes, Best Fallout podcast. This is the best show for Fallout, and I love the content. From fun lore content to the most recent game show type entertainment, it's always enjoyable. I listen to every episode when it comes out and follow quite a few of the other shows as well. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you, Belmont. Also, if you are interested in supporting the show, head to patreon.com/followlorecast to check all the different tiers, the cool looking t-shirts, get ad-free episodes, get episodes early, join us on chats like this, all that kind of stuff. You can also rate the show on Spotify, share it with your friends, and do all the regular stuff. But if you've been here for almost 300 episodes now, you probably know all of that. All right, let's continue with our conversation. Here we go.
If you have any questions about Nuka World, I'd be delighted to answer them.
All right, only 3 left. Who has an idea they want to share? Pumpkin, Spartan, Maverick? Pumpkin, it looks like you're ready.
I've answered already.
Oh, Pumpkin already went. Who hasn't gone yet? I'm losing track of who went. Pumpkin went, Darth went, Void went, Nova went, and Lilgrain. So we only have 2 left. Spartan,
I can go.
And Maverick. Spartan, go for it.
Yeah, I can go. So I think that something that I would be really cool is I was thinking about the ARPG Grim Dawn, and how in Grim Dawn you can't get to even like certain other areas until you actually like build a bridge or build like a certain thing to traverse it. And I was thinking about like Fallout and how I just think it'd be fun for like building or like your impact on the world to expand beyond settlements. like instead of just like having a settlement here and a settlement there and then like, oh, that's an established trade route. Like if you want to establish a trade route between your two settlements, you have to like actually go out and like secure a bridge or like build a bridge or like hold or protect the your builders or whatever while raiders are coming and you're trying to build the bridge. And that's how you establish the trade route. Is it's not just like, oh, I have two settlements here. It's you're actually going out and doing it.
Right.
And on the flip side, if you were doing something as like, if you wanted a counter to that, you could have something where you're destroying bridges. And it's like, if you're trying to be like a raider or something, you're actively shutting down trade routes or closing down other areas and changing the map that way.
So I see a few ideas here. You've got, do you become a settler or a raider? So are you building or destroying? And then maybe the map is divided into subsections and you claim the subsections of the map. Basically, you take power over those subsections, and then you can build a settlement. And then if you want to connect two settlements, you need to have claimed the other sections between those settlements, which include building or destroying things along the path in order to open up trade routes and those kinds of things. Does that make sense? So like the protecting the builders is part of claiming that section. So let's say you got two sections of the map with two settlements. There's one in between that you have to claim in order to link them. And so you have to, let's say you're a settler, you have to go clean out any of the bad guys that are along that trade route and then begin building the bridge or whatever you need to make between there. And then maybe they get under attack or whatever. You have to fend off the attacks, and eventually you clean up the area, and now you've got this trade route built. And over time, you could overtake the entire map. Maybe you fix up the entire area, maybe you destroy everything because that's what you want. But like, you could have like colors on the map change from like green to red, depending on who's in control of it, if it's a wild thing or if it's the raiders have owned it, like that kind of thing. What do you think about that, Spartan?
I like that, because that's kind of like, it almost like that type of like taking over the map would be cool, just because I think that you could even do something where like once you clean up an area, there's certain characters that like arrive and settle, and there's like quests hidden behind, like, did you choose to protect an area or did you choose to kind of ransack it or to tear it down or destroy it? Because like I said, like if you have characters that only show up once an area is like cleared and safe, you could have it be like, if depending on what choice you make, you don't even see certain storylines, and then there's replayability there, and then you want to go back through and make the other decision. Yeah.
Or you claim it for a faction. Maybe it's even more complex than just, are you a settler or a raider? Like if you decide at some point that like, no, you're working for the Brotherhood, then you're claiming different parts of land for the Brotherhood. And that pits you against maybe even just settlers. It is one thing to be like, all right, we're going to kick the raiders out of this area because we need to build a settlement here. It's another to be like, well, these settlers are kind of encroaching on our land. And now it's a morally gray place of like, well, they're not bad, but we need this spot in order to create a trade route. So maybe that even gives you more options to enlist them and bring them into the group. And then if they push back against you, maybe you shoot them in the face, or whatever. At least you have the options to decide what you're going to do to further your faction. And of course, it's Fallout, so not all the options are going to be black and white. It's going to be a lot of gray. Something like that.
Yeah, because part of what I got the idea too is because I've always wished that I could have like make a character that's just like a gunner, and there have been like gunner like missions and things like that. I always wish that was more fleshed out, and so like I kind of thought of the idea because I wanted to be on the destroying side. So I didn't really think about some of the other stuff. Yeah, but I do think it would be cool, especially like your idea with like claiming 4 factions, because like how I was thinking, like if there are certain characters that only show up once you claim it, or protect a certain area, like you could even do that for each faction. Like each faction only has certain quests that become available once that's claimed for that faction. Right. Or maybe there's even more complexity where it makes sense to claim certain areas for one faction, but other areas for another faction because you're trying to set up something. Or maybe you're trying to create conflict between the two factions because you work for a third faction, and so you want to put them on borders next to each other. Like there could be all sorts of complexities in this. Let's open this up. Pumpkin, did you have a thought on this?
So I think Nuka World kind of did that kind of thing
with the different gangs in Nuka World, and their zones.
You have to do the different worlds. But when you're this whole thing described with all the different, that's the faction portion. But like the whole building and all that. It just sounds like Fallout Civ.
Yeah, it is kind of Fallout Civ. It is a little Civ-ish. Yeah, yeah.
But I think it's really cool, and I would love to if Bethesda ever did something like that, it would be really cool to see how they did like Minutemen or all the different factions, and even bring older factions. Like imagine doing Brotherhood and Enclave. Like that would be just insane.
Or what if you can build through certain quest chains and things like that, certain factions get along better with other factions. And so what if the Minutemen and the Brotherhood end up kind of as allies? And so it doesn't matter if you claim a section for Brotherhood or Minutemen, it works for both. And as long as they're still allies. And then maybe there's a quest line where you break that alliance, and then all of a sudden those zones fall into warfare. And if you go into that zone, you see groups fighting each other or whatever.
Or oh gosh, I just had it. This happens way too
It's
much.
just gone again. It wasn't a real idea. Don't worry. Yeah, it happens to me too. You must be getting old. Who else has thoughts? Pumpkin's not very old. It's what happens, man. You get old. Maverick, you were breaking up.
I know.
Oh no, your voice is all robot-y. All right, give it a minute. Yeah, give it a minute and try and chime in another minute, and maybe it'll fix itself. Anyone else have ideas? Nova?
I do. It kind of sounds like what you were talking about before with, well, was it Voids or was it Darth Odin's idea? I forget where you said the more you follow a quest line, the more people of that faction show up in the game. That's kind of what it's reminding me of.
Yeah, I feel like you could tie that together. I think that was Darth talking about like...
Yeah, I think it was Darth. Yeah. And I would like it does sound very enjoyable to have a like in a sense a visual progression of how well this faction is doing or how powerful this faction has become within this area of the wasteland. Is being able to see, oh well, they just created a fort over here, or okay, here's them protecting a caravan. And instead of the caravan just hiring mercenaries, it is this faction saying, okay, we'll provide our services in exchange for a fee.
Right.
Like, yeah. It would just kind of make sense. But then you go outside of that territory, and all of a sudden there's no one of that faction. It's the opposing faction that you might run across. And so I think it would be really good mechanic that could be explored. Yeah,
we get bits and pieces of this in previous Fallout games where if you go to certain places, those places are clearly aligned with a specific group. You know, like New Vegas, we talked about New Vegas a lot on this episode. Like this area is controlled by the NCR and their presence is absolutely clear. This area is controlled by the Legion. This area is controlled by Raiders or whoever, right? And
yeah, but it's not dynamic though, is the thing.
Right.
I'm talking about a dynamic
absolutely.
Changing of the environment.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying is that like we already have the foundation of that show up in so many games without the dynamic quality. To add a dynamic element to that is just one step further. It's not like we're really changing the fundamentals of the game on a deep level, because that's kind of how these games are already designed. Certain groups are in certain places.
They say that's how it works. But in the actual game, it doesn't really work that way.
Right. Yeah. Unless there's like a one-off quest where like it just happens to...
You take the castle, basically. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah. Like there's a few of those.
Or Nelson or something like that.
Right. But across the board, having the ability to do that would be way more interesting and dynamic. And I would imagine people posting videos like, oh, check out what happens if you destroy the wasteland for, the Legion or whatever. And then they go to each of the zones and they're like, look at this stuff. Did you know that this Easter egg shows up here? Like, look how messed up all the world looks when everything's blown up, or whatever. That could be super cool.
My gosh, I turned the Colorado red with the blood of the NCR.
Right, and it's actually red. That would be amazing. That's a cool idea. This is a cool idea. All right. Any other thoughts on this one, Lil?
This is giving me flashbacks to Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and the gang territories.
Man, it's been a long time. It's been a long time since I played that game
too.
And I'm just like, that took so long to get done, and I didn't mind it, but also remembering back to after you took over something, you would see the grocery gang like in that territory, and just subtle things would change. So like,
Yeah.
I am all for this idea of just like you like working for a faction to take over certain like territories. I love this idea because it just makes the game, the biggest word we've been saying, I think, tonight is dynamic.
Yeah, dynamic.
I was thinking
role-playing
about
game.
the same thing.
Yeah, Maverick. Oh, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have better cell reception now. It's great.
Woohoo!
So I was thinking the same thing that you were. With all the gang activity, because I play a lot of. When I'm not playing Fallout, I play Grand Theft Auto. Shocker. But yeah, I know the feeling how subtle things, or even later in Fallout 4, after you complete the main quest, subtle things start to show up about which faction you chose to end with. Like there's more of that around, more of that faction around. So I see where you're coming from, and I think it's an interesting concept, but also it's like a giant game of Risk.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that like 4X kind of thing going where you're just playing with the map, and like it would have to be balanced in a way where it still feels like you're just playing through the game and you get these other interesting things that happen and less of like managing a map, you know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So we're getting close to the end of the show. Maverick, this is a fun idea. Maverick, do you have an idea you'd like to share to kind of wrap this up for us?
I mean, I really didn't. I was just along for the ride today because I just got off work.
No, that's totally fine. You've chimed in on other stuff. As long as everybody feels like they had a chance to talk and share some ideas, that's all that matters. So these have been some really cool ideas. I always have to wonder, like, which of the devs are listening to the show? Are you going to get any, like, is this going to plant some seeds and maybe we'll see them in the future somewhere? And who knows? The complexity of actually developing these things is always going to be more difficult than just coming up with an idea. But you never know. Maybe some of this stuff shows up in future games and that kind of thing. So thank you again, everybody, for being here, and chat for being here as well. Let's go back through and feel free to shout out anything you've got going on, anything you want to put out into the universe, or just, say, hey, thanks for being here. See you next time. Anything like that. Let's go back through in order of what I can see on my screen. Lil Green, kick us off. You got anything you want to share?
No, just the same old for me. If you ever want to reach out to me, I'm on the Discord. You can find me on Instagram on my photo page, _photography. I'm slowly putting out more stuff and just planning out my year and figure out what I'm doing.
Nice.
So
well, thanks for joining us again.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, dude. Pumpkin, you're up next. You got anything to share?
Well, just my Twitter. I've been thinking about what I'm planning on doing for my next cosplay. And the only hint I'm giving is BioShock.
Oh, all right. You're going to be a little sister then, huh? Is that not it? Am I wrong?
I'm just going to run up to you, just stab with a needle. I'd like the juice.
I totally want to see that outfit. I want to see you dressed up as a little sister with like the big eyes.
No, but you'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Pumpkin.
My Twitter is the Pumpkinkin. Eyes. The E is a 3 and the eyes are 1s.
There you go. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for putting up with my teasing. I appreciate it.
You're good. I'm having a day.
All right, dude. Darth Odin, anything you want to share?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing the same thing as Pumpkin King. I'm gonna be doing some cosplay.
Oh wow. Also a little sister?
Oh no. It's Star Wars related.
Oh, okay. Leia.
No.
I was gonna say Padme.
Leia. Padme. It's not a female costume of any sort?
I was thinking
not a female.
Not Ahsoka?
Not a female character.
Okay.
Not a female character.
No, okay. Slave Leia.
Slave Leia. There you go. Slave Leia. What's your costume going to be, Darth?
It's going to be Darth Revan.
Ooh, okay. That's cool. Well, good luck with that. That sounds awesome.
And you guys can follow me at Odin the Hooded One on Twitch, or talk to me over the Discord, or you can add me on Facebook, Ian Hedges.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here, man. Good luck with both of you. Good luck with the whole dressing up thing. Void, you got anything you want to share?
I mean, I'm always on the Discord. V01D696. Talk to me about your day. Do whatever. I'm a good listener. Talk about your mental health. I'm on TikTok at the Avalanche Welder. I haven't posted on there in a while because I haven't. It's too cold here in the Midwest to work on my truck outside. So
yeah. I can imagine.
But other than that, there's nothing.
All right. Well, thanks for being here. Spartan, I know you've got stuff going on.
Yeah, I am. So I guess the biggest thing, I am one of the hosts of the Elden Archives, which is the Rocket Club FromSoft lore show covering Elden Ring and stuff like that. Right now, we have 7 episodes out at the moment, coming out every Saturday. So that's been a lot of fun. So people can check that out if they like Elden Ring or FromSoft or anything like that. Other than that, I'm on the Discord. The show has a channel on the Discord, obviously, too. But I'm on the Discord, so people can hit me up there. Other than that, gaming-wise, I'm probably going to beat Lies of P tonight.
Ooh.
So that should be fun, because I haven't beaten that yet.
Nice.
And I think I'm right up at the end of that, which that's been a lot of fun. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. I've been working on the podcast and then playing Lies of P and just hanging out.
Well, thanks for being here. Yeah, go check out Elden Archives. Get some of that deep Elden Ring lore, because it's crazy. It's some weird stuff, man. That's awesome. All right, Maverick, I know you've got stuff too.
Yes, I got a ton of stuff. So if you like what you're listening here, just think of it, more mayhem all the time, every Thursday night, because we stream on Twitch now. It's the Fallout Roundtable, y'all.
There you go. Get some mayhem in your Fallout.
Mayhem and Fallout. It's awesome. Yeah, we just released the episode 75 of the Fallout Roundtable. We just celebrated our second 2-year anniversary earlier this month. And then another little podcast that I'm a part of, 3 Count Thoughts. It's our wrestling podcast. We just released episode number 4 relating to the Royal Rumble pay-per-view that just happened this last weekend.
Cool.
Our thoughts, on the card and stuff. I don't have a Twitter because I don't like that.
That's totally cool, man.
But if you want to find me, you can find through our show, the Fallout Roundtable. You can find us on Twitter at FalloutRTB on Twitter. You can send us an email, falloutrtb@gmail.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Or do a rain dance. Subscribe. Or send a letter in the mail. Or
yes, rain dances also work as well. I always look to the east, look to the west to find rain clouds. And then I'm also on Discord.
Congratulations on 2 years.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go check out Maverick's stuff. Thanks for being here, Maverick. And then Nova.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, Nova, you're wrapping it up for us.
All right. Just like we had last night.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm always on Discord. Feel free to send me a message there if you want to get a hold of me. I also have a YouTube channel, which is Supernova, capital S, Ooper, capital N, 0, capital V, capital A. Look for the golden retriever icon. I am currently working on a video about, the same video I said I was working on last time. It's taken a lot longer than I thought. It's about Voltec and how it's an insurance company, actually.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. I also just bought what is essentially the Deliverer from Fallout 4, and I'm going to shoot it, and I'm going to compare it to the in-game version of it. So we'll look for a video on that soon. It's a Makarov P64. Like that, the Deliverer is based off the Walther PPK, and this gun is derived from the Walther P. Well, it's actually based off the Walther PP. But this gun is based off it, and no, it's not 10mm because in real life it would explode if it was.
That's
just letting you know.
That's crazy. Also, you just said PP.
Yes, I did. It's German though, for a police putza or whatever it is, police pistol.
Yeah, just tease it.
That sounds cool. The Germans. Yeah, it is.
Cool.
Yeah,
man.
I found it at a gun show. I said I wasn't going to buy anything, and I Got home, I sent a picture to Logre. I was like, dude, guess what I bought? He's like, oh my God.
Nice. Yeah, go check out Nova's YouTube channel. Lots of people making all sorts of cool stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining me. This has been super fun. Chat, thanks for being here. And, of course, you know where my stuff is, robotsradio.net, for the rest of my lore shows about other Bethesda games or Lord of the Rings or all that kind of stuff, or a bunch of other creators on the network as well, making cool stuff. So go check that stuff out. And thank you for being here. I'll be back next week with a regular episode, and then hopefully I'll see a bunch of you all at the end of February, which is a shorter month. So maybe it'll be a little bit sooner. Stay safe out there. See you all later. To plug into everything else we're doing, check out robotsradio.net. Reach out to me on Twitter at robots_radio. Check out the Robots Radio Rocket Club, where you can join me and a bunch of our other creators creating your podcast, starting a new podcast, or helping your current podcast grow. There's more information about that on robotsradio.net as well. And you can always talk with us and the entire community, over 2,000 people on the Robots Radio Discord. Come join us. We'd love to chat with you. See you guys next time.